Chip Zdarsky and Marco Checchetto continue Wilson Fisk's reign of power over New York as the heroes assemble a plan to beat Fisk at his own game, while Doc Ock hatches his own devious scheme to seize power of the city. Chip Zdarsky continues the wonderful Devil's Reign event, heading in a direction I think many of us saw coming in that first issue when it came to Tony Stark's political games against Fisk, with it being Luke Cage who will be facing Fisk at the polls. It was a no-brainer and really a natural choice, with Zdarsky going over all of the reasons Luke is the best candidate for the job, the biggest being how he's never worn a mask and who he is in the public eye is who he actually really is. There was also a great bit of Tony trying to buy off some kids who filmed him, with Luke just kind of swooping in and convincing them that they're all in this together and kind of convincing them to stop doing what they're doing with just his words. It was a great way to showcase how Luke is really just a good guy trying to help his community. The Wilson stuff of this issue was also ripe with the themes of corruption and the abuse of public trust. All things we've seen Fisk do time and time again, but here it feels different and kind of real, like he's taking it very seriously, and in doing so has made him a legitimate threat to many heroes, not just Daredevil. I also quite enjoyed catching up with Reed and Sue, who are now stuck in a type of prison drama, which is a lot of fun, and it's great to see them kick ass without their powers, and they no doubt will be instrumental in leading some sort of coup against the Thunderbolts and Fisk with the inmates of the Myrmidon. Doc Ock's plans begin to also take shape as he's pretty much returned to being a villain here, which kind of goes against how he is being portrayed in The Amazing Spider-Man, where he's kind of riding that line and kind of using May as sort of his guide as wanting to be good, but he's kind of straying over to bad, but he's still staying on that line. But here he's just full-blown evil doctor, and because the multiverse is the hot new commodity of the time, we get multiversal Ock people who will be getting their own tie-ins. I think there will be 4 tie-ins for each of them. At least the variants all look like they are quite unique, with the Wolverine and Hulk and Ghost Rider, so I'm interested to learn more about them. Marco Checchetto continues to deliver just pure cinematic bliss in his storytelling through his immaculate art, giving us more exciting action sequences and some really great character interactions, especially the Wilson and Elektra one, where they're having sort of a verbal sparring session, in which we couldn't actually see Elektra's face thanks to her Daredevil costume, but we got all of the emotions that she was portraying throughout the issue thanks to her eyes and her expressive eyes and how Marco draws the eyes on the costume. It was just really fantastic. Devil's Reign issue 2 was another amazing issue in Chip Zdarsky's Marvel epic, diving deeper into the themes of corruption and public trust as our heroes and villains are all set up for their various upcoming tie-ins. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Devil's Reign issue 2 sees Danny Rand remind Luke that he isn't the Iron Fist anymore, appreciating his friend for thinking of him, but he is more worried about Luke since the video of Luke circulating painted a target on his back. Luke is well aware of that, and it's why he's meeting up with Steve Rogers and the rest of the team. Danny plans on driving north and laying low, but his plans are cut short by Crossbones and the Thunderbolts, who have come to arrest him. Danny doesn't go quietly, fighting the soldiers as Luke isn't sure if his friend is okay. Tony knows they can't go and get him since they are 30 blocks away and they don't have a Quinjet. He reveals that his brownstone, along with all of his armors there, are in lockdown when the government tried to go in and seize them, so to help Danny, they best get to Steve and the others. Wilson Fisk, meanwhile, is confronted by Daredevil, whom Wilson knows is just really Elektra. The woman knows that this is a desperate play and he's up against people who have the power of gods, but Fisk knows that if they attack him, the mayor, the true power, the people will remember that. He knows that he tires of the costume freaks doing whatever they want as he notices the woman's weapons, thinking she's there to kill him, but he knows Elektra has nuded herself to play the long game with the real Daredevil, which means no killing. Wilson calls himself the opposite and he's eager to unleash his pent-up power, and he's spent a fortune on amassing information on friends, enemies, and their weaknesses and dalliances, revealing he gave away Elektra's files to someone who was very eager, and someone who asked for the challenge of the great Elektra. He tells her that they want to meet her where she first tried to recruit the original Daredevil to the Hand. Elektra is aware that Wilson knows that she betrayed Matt as the Thunderbolts and Typhoid Mary arrive. Daredevil unleashes her sonic attack from her knives, allowing her to escape out the window as she knows that if he knows, she'll lose everything. Steve and the rest of the team all meet at the decommissioned Avengers mansion, which Steve tells Miles is decommissioned, but there is a secret active sub-basement that they can use. Some people are hanging out nearby, so Tony approaches them as they begin filming them, knowing that he can't have them videoing them, offering them each $1,000 to remove the videos from their phones. The boys knows that's pretty cheap for Tony, and they could sell the videos for even more. Luke interjects and the boys recognize him from his videos as he tells them that they are all in this together and they are the only ones who can stop the bad guys and save their city. The boys agree to delete the videos as the team head inside, watched from a dark corner of the park by a girl. Above the Daily Bugle, Ben Reilly gets ready to enter the building since he was called there by name. He knows this wasn't his place, it was Peter's, but it doesn't matter since when people are in danger, Spider-Man runs to them. Spider-Man swings into the bullpen where Whiplash and Taskmaster are keeping the Bugle staff hostage. Taskmaster knows that this isn't personal and the guy who hired them has a file on Spider-Man, but it was incomplete, which the client hated, so he wanted Taskmaster to find out who Spider-Man really is. Taskmaster reveals that he's got some upgrades and that the file said that based on his comings and goings, Spider-Man is someone who works at the Bugle, so he figured taking some hostages would be the perfect bait. The villain attacks as at the Myrmidon prison. Reed asks Sue if she has any luck with her phone call, but she says the lawyer is trying to get to the prison, but it's difficult given that they are in the middle of the ocean. She did see Iron Fist get processed, so hopefully the more heroes that come in, they'll kickstart something off in the prison. A couple of thugs come to see Mr. Fantastic, intending on stabbing the man, but Sue hits him over the head with a tray of food, as Reed takes down his friend, knowing that he doesn't need powers to be fantastic. Guards come to quell the riot as the couple kiss, telling each other to stay alive. At City Hall, Otto Octavius tells Wilson that this is the best he can do when it comes to controlling Kilgrave, and his device will be able to coerce people within New York, but not control them. Wilson knows that will be enough to win the city, as he tries to use the device on Otto, but the scientist reveals he built in safeguards against Kilgrave's power for himself, fulfilling his part of the deal. Wilson knows that this device is no different to the flurry of commercials that he would use to push citizens to vote out of fear, and he'll not lose this election or the city. Daredevil meanwhile heads into the snowy forests, meeting with the contact Fisk told her about, Kraven the Hunter, as Fisk knows that the heroes will all fall to the decades worth of traps he has laid for them. In the Avengers sub-basement, the team want to talk about Tony's plan to run against Fisk. Tony knows it's the cleanest way to defeat him, but Miles thinks that it is. They just don't think that Tony is the right guy to do it. Jessica knows that rich guy versus rich guy doesn't seem like the best path to victory, and Luke agrees, thinking that he should run instead. Steve agrees since his speech the other day inspired people, and to win the election, they need to inspire. Matt knows that Luke is also the only one not to wear a mask, so the people trust him. Luke knows that it makes sense, and this isn't about ego, it's about beating Fisk. Tony leaves, knowing that it's not a problem, but to him it clearly is. Spider-Man meanwhile is having a lot of trouble dealing with Taskmaster and Whiplash, who Ben wants to focus on, so he gives up the hostages, stoking Ivan's ego. It works and Ivan attacks, wrapping Spider-Man in his whips, but Spider-Man uses the electricity they give off against him, knocking the villain out. Ben's muscles begin to seize up thanks to the attack, as he asks Taskmaster if he wants to take this outside. Taskmaster puts a power dampener on him, agreeing to take it outside as he kicks Ben out of the window. Ben tries to web to the building, but thanks to having no powers and strength, he ends up dislocating his arms, slamming hard into a car below. Otto meanwhile thinks that Fisk is a small man thinking small, wanting to leave him to his hero torture since he understands true power, and his power is superior. He activates Mr. Fantastic's interdimensional gate he stole, opening it up and bringing forth a Wolverine, Hulk and Ghost Rider Dr. Octopus from the multiverse to aid him in his evil plans.